What can heal Taurus stubbornness? 10 keys of awareness. There is something you need to hear today, and it might not be comfortable. But if you have lived long enough as a Taurus, you already know that the most important truths rarely are. Your stubbornness, that legendary, immovable, almost mythical stubbornness, has been both your greatest asset and your deepest wound. It has kept you standing when everyone else would have fallen. It has built empires of stability in a world that constantly shifts. But it has also kept you locked in patterns that no longer serve you, clinging to positions that cost you peace, and holding on to things long past the moment they needed to be released. Today, we are going to walk through 10 keys of awareness that can begin to heal that stubbornness, not by removing it, but by transforming it into something wiser, softer, and infinitely more powerful. Key 1. The first key of awareness is understanding that stubbornness is often fear wearing a mask of strength. This is perhaps the most important realization you will ever have about yourself, and it is the one most Taurus souls resist the longest. Because from the inside, stubbornness does not feel like fear. It feels like certainty. It feels like knowing what is right and refusing to compromise. It feels like integrity, like backbone, like the kind of firmness the world desperately needs. And sometimes it is all of those things. But more often than you would like to admit, what drives your refusal to change, to bend, to consider another possibility, is not conviction. It is terror. The terror of being wrong. The terror of losing control. The terror that if you let go of your position, if you admit that you do not have all the answers, the ground beneath your feet will crack open and swallow you whole. That fear is understandable. Taurus builds its entire sense of safety on solid ground, and anything that threatens that ground feels like an existential crisis. But here is the truth that fear does not want you to see. The ground has already shifted beneath you hundreds of times in your life, and you are still here. You did not fall. You did not disappear. You adapted, you adjusted, you found new footing. Every single time. Recognizing that your stubbornness is sometimes a fear response does not make you weak. It makes you honest. And honesty is the first step toward healing anything. When you can look at your own resistance and ask yourself, is this conviction or is this fear? You have already begun to loosen the chains. You have already created a crack in the armor wide enough for light to enter. That light is awareness, and it changes everything it touches without destroying anything worth keeping. Key 2. The second key is learning to distinguish between your values and your habits. These two things feel identical to Taurus, but they are profoundly different. Your values are the deep, non-negotiable principles that define who you are. Honesty, loyalty, integrity, the commitment to showing up for the people you love. These are sacred. These should never change. But your habits are simply the ways you have always done things, the routines you have followed for so long that they feel like part of your identity even when they are not. The way you respond to conflict, the foods you eat, the route you drive to the store, the time you go to bed, the order in which you complete your morning. These are habits. And because they are familiar, because they have been repeated thousands of times, your brain has categorized them alongside your values as things that must not be altered. This is where stubbornness becomes problematic. When someone suggests a different approach, a new perspective, or a change to your routine, your nervous system reacts as though your core identity is under attack. But it is not. It is just a habit being questioned, and habits can be changed without changing who you are. The healing here is in the separation. Start noticing when you resist something and ask yourself, is this threatening my values or just my habits? If it is your values, stand firm. That is not stubbornness, that is integrity. But if it is merely a habit, consider the possibility that a new way might serve you better than the old one. This distinction alone will transform your relationship with change. You will discover that most of the things you have been clutching so tightly are not pillars holding up your identity. They are just comfortable patterns that have outlived their usefulness. And letting them go will not make you less of a Taurus. It will make you a freer one. Key 3. The third key of awareness is recognizing the cost of always needing to be in control. Control is the close cousin of stubbornness, and for Taurus, they are often inseparable. Your stubbornness is frequently in service of control. Controlling outcomes, controlling situations, controlling how others perceive you, controlling the narrative of your own life. And while a certain degree of control is healthy and necessary, the degree to which you practice it has been anything but moderate. You have exhausted yourself managing every detail. You have strained relationships by insisting things be done your way. You have missed opportunities because they required you to surrender control to someone or something else, and surrender is a word that makes your spine stiffen. But consider this honestly. What has all that control actually given you? Has it eliminated uncertainty from your life? No. Uncertainty still arrives, uninvited and unannounced, no matter how carefully you try to prevent it. Has it guaranteed good outcomes? No. Some of the things you controlled most tightly fell apart anyway. Has it brought you peace? If you are being truthful, the answer is almost certainly no. Because the pursuit of control is an endless race with no finish line. There is always something else that needs managing, always another variable that could go wrong, always another person whose behavior needs correcting. The healing comes from recognizing that control is an illusion that costs real energy. Every ounce of effort you spend trying to manage the unmanageable is an ounce of energy stolen from the things that actually matter. Your joy, your creativity, your presence in the moments that are happening right now. When you begin to release control, even in small ways, you discover something extraordinary. Things still work out. Not always the way you planned, but often in ways that are equally good or even better. And the energy you reclaim from the constant vigilance of control becomes available for something far more valuable. Actually living your life instead of just managing it. Key 4. The fourth key is understanding that your body keeps the score of every battle your stubbornness has fought. This is not metaphorical. It is literal. Every time you dug in your heels and refused to move, your muscles tensed. Every time you carried the weight of an argument you would not let go of, your shoulders climbed a little higher. Every time you swallowed words you wanted to say because admitting vulnerability felt too dangerous, your stomach tightened. Over decades, those physical responses have accumulated. They live in your body now as chronic tension, as stiffness, as pain that seems to have no clear origin. Your jaw clenches when you sleep. Your lower back aches even when you have not been physically active. Your neck carries the rigidity of 1,000 positions you refuse to soften. Your body has been paying the price for your mind's stubbornness, and it is sending you signals that it is time to change. Listen to those signals. They are not signs of aging or decay. They are messages from the wisest part of you. The part that knows healing is needed long before your conscious mind is willing to admit it. The healing begins when you start connecting your physical symptoms to your emotional patterns. When your back hurts, ask yourself what you have been carrying that is not yours to carry. When your jaw is tight, ask yourself what you have been grinding through instead of releasing. When your shoulders ache, ask yourself what weight you could set down if you were willing to let someone else help. This awareness creates a bridge between your body and your stubbornness that allows healing to flow in both directions. As you soften emotionally, your body softens physically. As you learn to release positions that no longer serve you, your muscles learn to release tension that no longer protects you. It is not magic. It is simply the profound connection between how you hold your mind and how you hold your body, and the recognition that changing one inevitably changes the other. If what you're hearing feels accurate, imagine what could happen if you applied this energy intentionally for 21 consecutive days. That's exactly what the 21-day program in the pinned comment is built for. Daily guidance, focused direction, and real momentum. If you're tired of staying in the same cycle, this is your structure. Key 5. The fifth key is accepting that being wrong does not mean being worthless. This is the hidden equation that runs beneath so much Taurus stubbornness. The secret math that your subconscious has been doing for decades without your awareness. Somewhere deep inside, you formed a belief that your value as a person is tied to your correctness. If you are right, you are worthy. If you are wrong, you are flawed. And so being wrong became intolerable, not because of the practical consequences, but because of what it meant about you as a human being. This equation is false, but it feels absolutely true because it has been running for so long that it seems like a fundamental law of your existence. Healing this requires a deliberate reprogramming. You need to practice being wrong in small, safe ways and notice that your value does not decrease. You need to say the words "I was wrong" out loud, not as an apology to someone else, but as a gift to yourself, and observe that the world does not end. You need to let someone else be right, even when you could make a strong case for your own position, and feel the relief that comes from no longer carrying the burden of constant correctness. This key of awareness unlocks something profound. When being wrong is no longer catastrophic, you become free to explore ideas you would have dismissed before. You become curious instead of defensive. You become open instead of armored. And paradoxically, you start being right more often because a mind that is willing to be wrong is a mind that is willing to learn. And a mind that is willing to learn is the most accurate instrument there is. Your worth was never dependent on being correct. It was always inherent, built into the very fabric of who you are, unshakable and permanent regardless of how many times you get things wrong. Knowing that, truly knowing it in your bones and not just in your head, is one of the most powerful forms of healing available to you. Key 6. The sixth key of awareness is recognizing that stubbornness often masks grief. This connection is not obvious, and most Taurus souls would resist it if you pointed it out directly. But consider this carefully. Many of the positions you hold most stubbornly are connected to losses you never fully processed. You refuse to change because change reminds you of things that changed against your will. You cling to routines because they are the last surviving structures of a life that has already been altered beyond recognition. You insist on certain ways of doing things because those ways connect you to people who are no longer here, and letting go of the method feels like letting go of the person. Grief for Taurus does not look the way it looks for other signs. You do not crumble. You do not fall apart in public. You do not wear your sorrow on your sleeve or ask for comfort from those around you. Instead, you become more rigid, more fixed, more immovable. Your stubbornness increases in direct proportion to your unprocessed grief, because holding tight to something, anything, makes you feel less like you are drowning in loss. But healing requires that you name what you are actually holding on to. It is not the routine itself that matters. It is the memory the routine preserves. It is not the position itself that is so important. It is the connection that position represents. When you can see the grief beneath the stubbornness, you can begin to honor it directly rather than indirectly. You can grieve the losses without turning them into rigid fortresses. You can remember the people, the times, the versions of yourself that no longer exist, and hold them with tenderness instead of with a clenched fist. This does not mean the grief disappears. Some losses never fully heal, and anyone who tells you otherwise has never truly lost something that mattered. But the expression of that grief can change. It can move from stubbornness to tears, from rigidity to remembrance, from holding on to holding gently. And in that shift, enormous healing becomes possible. Key 7. The seventh key is learning that flexibility is not disloyalty. This is a critical distinction for Taurus, because loyalty is perhaps your highest value. You are loyal to people, to principles, to promises, to places, to patterns. And that loyalty is beautiful. It is rare in a world that moves quickly and forgets easily. But your loyalty has a shadow side. The belief that changing your mind, adapting your approach, or reconsidering your position is somehow a betrayal. A betrayal of the person you promised, the cause you committed to, or the identity you have built over a lifetime. This belief keeps you locked in situations long after they have stopped serving you, long after the original reason for your commitment has dissolved, long after staying has become more painful than leaving. You stay in relationships because you promised. You stay in jobs because you committed. You stay in patterns because changing them feels like admitting that the years you spent in them were mistakes. But flexibility and loyalty are not opposites. The most loyal thing you can do for yourself, and for the people who love you, is to grow. Growth requires flexibility. It requires the willingness to say what was right for me then is no longer right for me now, and that is not a failure. That is evolution. When you can be flexible without feeling disloyal, you unlock a version of yourself that is both grounded and free. You can honor your past without being imprisoned by it. You can keep your commitments while also recognizing when a commitment has run its natural course. You can be loyal to your values while being flexible in your methods. This is the mature expression of Taurus energy. The oak tree that stands firm but whose branches bend with the wind. The roots hold. The trunk remains. But the branches dance, and in that dance, the tree survives storms that would destroy anything more rigid. Some people watch. Others transform. If you want to be in the second group, the 21-day guide in the pinned comment gives you a clear step-by-step process aligned with your sign. This isn't about waiting. It's about moving. Key 8. The eighth key of awareness is understanding that patience and stubbornness are not the same thing. Taurus is famously patient, and that patience is often held up as one of your finest qualities. You can wait longer than almost any other sign. You can endure discomfort, delay gratification, and outlast obstacles that would have defeated others long ago. But there is a fine line between patience and stubbornness, and you have not always stayed on the right side of it. Patience is the wise willingness to wait for the right moment, trusting that time will bring what you need. Stubbornness is the refusal to move even when the moment is clearly wrong, even when every sign is telling you that this path is no longer viable, even when staying put has become more about pride than about purpose. The difference is awareness. Patient Taurus knows why they are waiting. Stubborn Taurus has forgotten and is simply staying because moving feels like giving up. Healing this confusion requires regular check-ins with yourself. When you find yourself holding a position, waiting in a situation, or remaining in a circumstance that seems to be going nowhere, stop and ask, am I being patient or am I being stubborn? Is there a genuine reason to believe that waiting will produce the outcome I desire? Or am I simply refusing to acknowledge that this is not going to work? These are not comfortable questions, but they are necessary ones. Because patience spent wisely is an investment. Patience spent stubbornly is a waste. And at this stage of your life, you cannot afford to waste any more time on things that are not going to yield a return. Your time is too valuable, your energy is too precious, and the things that are waiting for you on the other side of your stubbornness are too important to be delayed any further by your refusal to see what is plainly in front of you. Key 9. The ninth key is the willingness to be vulnerable with the people who have earned your trust. Stubbornness at its deepest level is a form of armor. It protects the tender, sensitive, deeply emotional core that lives inside every Taurus. The part of you that feels everything so intensely that exposure feels dangerous. You have learned through painful experience that showing your soft side can lead to being hurt, to being dismissed, to being taken advantage of by people who mistake your gentleness for weakness. And so you hardened. You put up walls. You became the strong one, the reliable one, the one who never needed anything from anyone. But those walls that protect you from pain also protect you from connection. They keep the hurt out, but they also keep the love out. They preserve your independence, but they also preserve your loneliness. And loneliness, for a sign that craves deep and lasting bonds, is perhaps the highest price your stubbornness has ever extracted from you. The healing is not in tearing down all the walls. That would be reckless, and Taurus is never reckless. The healing is in learning to open doors in those walls. Selective, intentional doors that allow certain people to enter the most protected parts of you. The people who have shown you, through years of consistent behavior, that they can be trusted with your vulnerability. The people who have stayed when others left, who have listened without judging, who have held space for your emotions without trying to fix them. These people exist in your life, or they will, and they deserve more than the armored version of you. They deserve the real one. Let them in. Let them see the softness beneath the stubbornness. Let them hold parts of you that you have been holding alone for far too long. This will feel terrifying at first. Your instinct will scream at you to close the door, to put the armor back on, to retreat to the safety of your fortress. But if you can sit with that discomfort long enough for it to pass, what you will find on the other side is a kind of intimacy that transforms everything. An intimacy that heals not just your stubbornness, but the wound that created it in the first place. Key 10. The 10th and final key is perhaps the simplest and the hardest of all. Choosing to be kind to yourself about your stubbornness instead of ashamed of it. You have heard these 10 keys, and perhaps you recognize yourself in every single one. Perhaps you are sitting with the weight of all the moments when your stubbornness caused pain, closed doors, ended relationships, or kept you stuck. And perhaps a familiar voice is rising inside you, the voice that says you should have known better, you should have changed sooner, you should be further along by now. That voice is stubbornness too. It is the stubborn refusal to accept yourself as you are, with all your imperfections and all your beautiful, frustrating, magnificent resistance. Healing your stubbornness does not mean condemning it. It means understanding it. It means recognizing that every time you dug in your heels, you were trying to survive. Every time you refused to bend, you were trying to protect something that felt precious. Every time you held on too tightly, you were responding to a world that had taught you that letting go was dangerous. You were not wrong to protect yourself. You were simply using the only tool you had. And now, with these 10 keys, you have more tools. You have awareness. You have understanding. You have the ability to choose differently, not because you were wrong before, but because you know more now. Be gentle with yourself in this process. Change does not happen overnight, especially not for Taurus. It happens slowly, like the turning of seasons, like the wearing of stone by water, like the gradual opening of a flower that refuses to rush. Let it be slow. Let it be imperfect. Let it be exactly as stubborn as it needs to be. And so we arrive at the end of these 10 keys, and perhaps you feel something different inside you. A loosening, a softening, a willingness to consider that your stubbornness is not something to be conquered but something to be understood. That is the beginning of healing. Not the end, not even the middle, but the beginning. And beginnings are the most powerful moments in any transformation, because they carry within them the energy of everything that is to come. You are a Taurus who has begun to see the patterns that have shaped your life. You have begun to understand the fears that drive your resistance and the grief that fuels your rigidity. You have begun to separate your values from your habits, your patience from your stubbornness, your strength from your armor. And in that seeing, in that understanding, in that separation, something has already changed. You may not feel it yet. The transformation may be too subtle to name. But it is there like a seed beneath soil, waiting for the right conditions to break through. Those conditions are your willingness, your honesty, and your courage, all of which you have demonstrated simply by staying with this message until the very end. You have two options after this video: close it and hope things shift, or decide that the next 21 days will be different. If you choose the second, the structured 21-day transformation aligned with your sign is waiting in the pinned comment. The energy is already moving, the only question is whether you are.